In this video, I'm going to be modeling for you the basic addition and subtraction that we will be doing in 4th grade with fractions. So it's important to note that when we're adding and subtracting fractions, they'll always have the same denominator. So here they both have tenths and here they both have twelfths. Later on, they will get into needing to use strategies to add fractions that aren't having common denominators, but for now, this is what we have. So it's actually pretty simple. So I'm just going to go through a couple of examples. There's one little reminder that 4th graders do need, and I'll show you when we get there what that means. So here I have 2 tenths plus 4 tenths. And what I like to think of is I have some tenths and I'm adding more tenths, so I should end up with tenths in the end. It's just like thinking I have oranges and more oranges, I should end up with oranges. So keeping the denominator the same. So then I just need to look at the numerator. So I have 2 tenths and I'm adding 4 tenths, so it ends with 6 tenths. And we make connections in saying it's a lot like 2 plus 4 equals 6, but it's just 2 tenths plus 4 tenths equals 6 tenths. If your 4th grader did need to, understand this with a better visual, then what they would need to do is they could draw their tenths, and then they could say, okay, I have 2 tenths, and then I'm going to add 4 more tenths. So here's my 2 tenths, and here's my 4 tenths, and in all I have 6 tenths. 6 of the 10 are shaded. So there we have that there. So pretty simple. This is very similar, but you're going to notice one extra step I need to do. So here I have 4 tenths, and I'm adding 8 tenths, so I should end up with tenths. I'm having common denominators. Well, it's a lot like 4 plus 8, which is 12. But what 4th graders need to recognize is now I'm over a whole. They need to be able to really recognize, oh, that's an improper fraction, because a whole would be 10 tenths, all 10 of the 10 units. But I have more than that. So I need to always change my improper fractions to mixed numbers. So just as a reminder, in case your 4th grader needs a reminder with that, sorry about that, what I like to do is I like to think, okay, well, the one whole, I'm just going to put a tiny little 10 here to remind myself. The one whole would be 10 tenths. So I have 10 of them. So I have a whole. And then how many extra tenths? Well, 11 tenths, 12 tenths. I have 2 extra tenths here. So 12 tenths is equal to 1 and 2 tenths. But this is the more standard way of writing it. So if you ever end up with more than one whole, change it to an improper fraction. So that's what they might need a little bit of a reminder for. All right, really simply here with subtracting fractions. So here I have 9 twelfths, and I'm going to subtract 2 twelfths. So I'm starting with twelfths, and I'm subtracting twelfths. So I'm going to end up with twelfths in the end. So again, common denominators. So it's a lot like 9 minus 2, but I'm just doing 9 twelfths minus 2 twelfths inside the same whole. So I'm going to end up with 7 twelfths. If your 4th grader needed more of a visual, you can have them make twelfths, shade in 9 of them, so there's my 9 twelfths. But then I'm subtracting 2 of them. So I could kind of cross those out. So my leftover is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 twelfths. So there's our visual. But typically 4th graders are pretty successful here because it's pretty basic. So just remember common denominators. Talk them through that. I have tenths and I'm adding more tenths. So I should end up with tenths. Or I started with twelfths. I'm taking away twelfths. But I'm still going to be left with some twelfths. And just always remind them, no matter they're adding or subtracting or anything, to turn those improper fractions, the ones that show more than one whole, into mixed numbers.